You are more likely to be struck by lightning multiple times than to randomly be involved in two mass shooting events in your lifetime. It's comparable, being involved in two mass shootings is comparable to being killed by a great white shark or being bitten by a shark and then bitten again at a different time. You are more likely to die in a car crash caused by a deer, to be killed by falling furniture, to die accidentally from choking, to be killed by extreme heat or extreme cold exposure, than to be involved in two mass shooting events by chance. You are more likely to meet somebody with your exact birth date and time in a small enclosed room, flip a coin and get 20 heads in a row, be born with natural red hair and green eyes, win a major state lottery, be struck by lightning and attacked by a shark in the same year, then be caught in two mass shooting events. So when people hear about a Bondi Beach survivor that was also in the October 7th shooting in Israel at the Music Fest, are Brown students, Brown University students, who were also involved in school shootings. Your instinct naturally says, this must be happening more often. But statistically, what is happening is these are extremely rare outliers that are being amplified by media repetition, occurring within non-random risk clusters. Outliers do not redefine the baseline risk. In fact, I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to say that there is a distinct possibility that maybe, just maybe, these people have a secondary job that you and I are not necessarily aware of. Now, having said that, before I make my decision, I want to show you guys what I found today. First off, there are actually something called crisis actor programs. Now, some people just turn me off. They're like, not listening. That's on you, boo. I just want to show you what I found. FEMA actually has a Center for Domestic Preparedness called CDP, which keeps a pool of names of crisis actors that they can pull from when they want to participate in disaster or active shooter drills, training, and simulation exercises. These actors help first responders prepare for realistic mass casualty incidents. It is a government program, so it is not a private for-profit business. So welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. After telling you the statistical possibility of actually being involved in two mass shooting events in your lifetime, I would like to introduce you to three people who in the last month have done just that. Now, I don't know about you, but I was listening to this woman named Erica Kirk, and she said that nothing is a coincidence. So after hearing that, I'm just going to keep everything available and open in my mind. I want to show you the truth. This was on ABC News for at least two Brown University students. This is their what, friends and family? Second school shooting. Second school shooting. Of course, the majority of these young people that have survived the Parkland shooting and also the Brown University shooting, they are now running for congressional districts and campaigning to remove your Second Amendment rights. Yeah, so you have in 2018, Zoe Wiseman was a student at Westglades Middle School in Parkland, Florida, across the street from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where 17 people were killed in a mass shooting on Valentine's Day and 18 were injured. On Saturday, Wiseman, 20, was in her dormitory room when there was a shooting at Brown University. So she wasn't actually like involved at being bang banged at. However, that's still statistically almost impossible, guys. Okay, being really serious. Then you go down to Mia Trita, who also survived a previous school shooting. She was a freshman when she was actually shot in the abdomen in 2019 in a mass shooting at Saugus High School in Santa Clarita, California, where two students were killed and she was one of three injured. And she was also at Brown University when the shooting happened. Better go buy a lottery ticket. I'm just saying, guys. Bloodbath Massacre, October 7th, attack survivor injured in the Sydney shooting. Huh. I mean, I'm just, guys, I'm just saying, okay? Let me show you some other stuff I found. Because we went to breakfast this morning, my husband and I. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name is Samantha Starkey. Spent 10 years in college becoming an educator. All right. Absolutely love to teach. But also, I'm a homesteader by choice, but I don't like to be lied to. Real problem with that, right? So I want to show you some things. Oh, by the way, I'm also a published author. Our author, Tucker Carlson, horrified as geoengineering expert Dane Whittington identifies, things being sprayed in the sky. You can pick up our book. I'll link it, Growing Under a Poison Sky. But I want to show you something, and I want to ask what you guys think.
Are you an elite? Are your staged attacks not going as planned? Are your globalist agendas failing because you're using subpar crisis actors? Well, then look no further. Hi, I'm Harrison Hanks, the ultimate crisis actor. Need a medical doctor? In 18 years as a medical examiner, I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
Is this one over the top? Is this one different?
Yeah, it's over the top. 33 children died. You need a grieving husband? Did a right-winger set off a bomb? Right, yeah, we're just milling about over there. Had a massive explosion. Then I'm your man. Tired of melodramatic acting?
There's light away from the darkness.
I'm just trying to figure out if he's okay.
I lost my 20-year-old, but I had 20 years with my son.
It's just tragedy, horror, and tragedy.
Or maybe you need me to tone down my good acting to match your sorry lot of wannabes. In that case, I can go from this. My name is Bobby Parmer. My family's one of the families that lost a child. To this. My name is Bobby Parmer. And my family's one of the families that lost a child. Going for the guns takes subtlety, like this. I don't know how many more need to die before the president does something. Not this.
And please, could we do something with the assault weapons?
And every one of those hands is a reason why those weapons should not be out in the general public.
Because in this kind of a situation, what has changed? Have we learned nothing?
Tired of green screen mishaps and disappearing noses? Me too.
Okay, you take it. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say?
I'm green screen ready, bonded, and insured. I can morph into 1,000 different faces. I offer reasonable rates, and I have no conscience. Just pick your card to play on the world stage.
From homeless to police officer. From doctor to witness to your ace card, the grieving father.
You can count on Harrison Hanks to push through your agenda. Regain their trust. Call Harrison Hanks for all your crisis needs. Thank you, and good luck.
Okay. Sandy Hooks happened on the same day as Bondi Beach, December 14th. Okay. Now, there's a place called Crisis Cast. It's a simulation and crisis management training company that uses trained role play actors and film crews to simulate disasters and emergency incidents for government, military units, schools, hospitals, and security organizations. Clients have included major security firms and emergency response exercises worldwide. It is not based only in the United States. It's actually headquartered in the United Kingdom, but operates globally, including with clients relevant to United States training programs. Then there's the local disaster simulation and medical training programs. These are not centralized national private crisis actor companies in the US widely known under that name, but many regional emergency training organizations hire actors or volunteers for drills. Examples include Magnum Services, who use former military members and actors to simulate crises and casualties in training scenarios for emergency personnel. Then there's FEMA and CERT, C-E-R-T, volunteer pools. So these are community emergency response teams, and local agency volunteers are often used as mock victims. Mock victims. One more time for the people in the back of the bus. Mock victims and participants. Also, a really great one that people joke about all over Reddit and stuff is called Crowds on Demand. This is a U.S. publicity firm which hires actors to play crowds, protesters, fans, paparazzi, and victims. Not specifically for crisis drills, I might add, but as actors for hire in public relations and, I quote unquote, staged events. Some people conflate this kind of service with crisis actors, but this company does not specialize in disaster response simulations. What they specialize is in people that talk to camera crews afterwards. So, again, you have FEMA and federal training centers, state or local emergency centers, private training providers like Magnum Services, international crisis simulation firms, Crisis Cast, which is a large-scale, realistic scenario training firm, and you have publicly crowd-firming firms called Crowds on Demand. Now, you can do with that whatever you like. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you can, hype this video. Please share it on all your social media, because watch this.
Nick. So let me get this straight. You think Candace Owens is a reliable source of news and truth? What people are actually looking at is controlled opposition. Candace Owens, Erica Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, the whole alternative lane. People started catching on that mainstream media is fake and staged. So what happened next? They didn't stop the show, they launched new channels. Same system, different set. They pick the faces they pick the roles, they give people opposition that feels rebellious but stays inside the lines. And it works because it keeps people trapped in false hope, hero worship, and endless distractions. They even package it in religion and morality because that lowers people's guards. People start trusting the messenger instead of seeing the symbolism. The villains and heroes that people are clinging on to are on the same payroll. The theater is very convincing, but once you stop feeding it your attention and energy,
Amen.
You stop being controllable, and that is what they fear. But I don't know. I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Let me know what you think.
And there it is. I've showed that before. People still aren't ready to wake up. This one's going to blow your mind. As we're sitting at breakfast this morning, I told my husband, I don't understand why they would do this. And then I realized that this was broadcast into every public school. There were TVs rolled into every public schools, into gymnasiums across America, and all the kids were gathered in the gym, and we were forced to watch the Challenger with the school teacher shoot off into the sky. It was a trauma event, and it worked.
I'm pretty sure one day the public's going to wake up to the fact that we've been living in an actor-based reality all along. And here's another example of that. Many of you know about this one. It's an old one. The space shuttle disaster Challenger back in the 80s. Here is one of the pilots from that space shuttle, Michael J. Smith, who supposedly died on takeoff with the rest of the crew. But as you can see, he went on to become a professor at university. And this is how they pull these hoaxes on the unsuspecting public, using these crisis actors. And the reason, they want to drain your emotional energy from you. So obviously you're going to get people out there, let's say that.
And I want to show you something. I want you to look at the teeth. It's the exact same people. I showed this to Steve, and he goes, baby, they've never been in outer space. You know they can't go through the firmament. I said, you're right. They can't.
Energy from you. So obviously you're going to get people out there, let's say that I'm sick in the head or mentally ill or suffering some sort of retardation for posting this crap. But let me tell you who the real sick ones are. It's the ones perpetrating these hoax events upon you, yeah? Think about the children of the teacher, her class, and they were watching live on TV as she blew up in the space shuttle. How many of them did it traumatize? How many of them did it disturb, yeah? So I'm not the sick one, just spotlighting it. See, what you've got to remember is every time they pull one of these hoaxes, it's to elicit a emotional response from you. You know, it might be anger, it might be sympathy, it might be, sadness or trauma. Mostly it's trauma-based mind control. And yeah, I mean, you got to think, why are they doing this? Because they can create history. When they pull these hoax events, they're basically creating our history using crisis actors.
Now, this one doesn't look that much alike to me. Eye color different, teeth different. I know you can change all that. I know that you can. But the nose, I don't know. Depends on what angle. Nose looks a little different to me. What do you guys think about her?
It's mind control. And yeah, I mean, you got to think, why are they doing this? Because they can create history. When they pull these hoax events, they're basically creating our history using crisis actors. Remember, those that write the history and control the past control the present, and the ones that control the present control the future. And all these people in this photo, there's matches for them. None of them died. And that is one of the reasons that I don't let myself get emotionally involved in world-staged theatre, in Masonic theatre, because you're not going to live a happy life, you know. If you follow their scripts, you're going to be miserable, angry, upset. That's why it's best to write your own scripts and follow your own scripts, and that way you'll lead a happy life.
Now, I will show you this one really, really upset me because I can't tell if this is real or not. So I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to just assume this is real. So this is him in his shirt. Look at all the camera set up. Look at the crisis actor equipment. This was Bondi Beach. Forgive me if I believe your horror at the massacre in Sydney, which I survived, is entirely hollow. For the last 2+ years, you have excused, embraced, and mainstream Hamas and Islamic terror against Jews, only poured more fuel on the fire of hate. We are praying for our friend Arson and for all the wounded. Okay, so he's wearing the exact same shirts there. Now watch.
Screen, you were seeing Arsen Ostrovsky. Not only was he a survivor in the recent attack, get this, Arsen Ostrovsky also survived the terror attack of October 7th. What that officially proves is he is on par with his luck, similar to that of Larry Silverstein. Arsen also went on some news media outlets and he quoted, "We came here only 2 weeks ago to work with the Jewish community to fight anti-Semitism. I never thought..."
Yep. So now they're saying that when the Challenger broke up in 1986, the crew cabin remained intact as it fell for now. So they're telling you it didn't blow up like we all thought it did, immediately blow up. Everybody did. No, they're saying now that all of the astronauts survived the blast and were conscious until they hit the Atlantic Ocean. Guys, they're pretty much telling you they did not die in the blast.
In the Challenger, that was a hoax. That's been proven conclusively by researchers and reporters, investigators, who have found that those supposed people that were in the Challenger are still alive today.
We remember Dick Scobie, the commander who spoke the last words we heard from the Space Shuttle Challenger. We remember Michael Smith. We remember Judith Resnick. We remember Krista McAuliffe. We remember Ellison Onizuka. We remember Ronald McNair.
People still think the Challenger exploded with these astronauts. It was a horrible thing. Never happened.
Commander Dick Scobie had a company called Cows and Trees, and when you went to his website, there was an animation of a cow taking off like a rocket with a smoke stream coming out of its backside, doing a twisty curl in the air that looked remarkably just like what we saw with the Challenger. And after we started making videos on that and it started going viral, that website disappeared, never to be seen again.
Statistically speaking, the odds that almost everyone on the Challenger have exact lookalikes with exact names still existing is kind of laughable, honestly.
CNN was reporting, and they told the cameraman, let's get a live shot of Krista's parents, and when they zoomed in on them, they were giggling, they were laughing, they were smiling. I don't know how you can put a smile on someone's face, even if you told them the funniest joke in the world at that very moment. Just look at their face. Is that the face of somebody whose daughter just blew up in the most horrific, violent accident ever? Or is that somebody playing a role, not knowing that they're on camera and thinking about the money that they may have gotten?
We don't keep secrets and cover things up. We do it all up front and in public.
Next is former NASA astronaut Judith Resnick with an exact doppelganger working at Yale University. 37 years have passed and she hasn't even changed her name.
So my husband and I were talking about that. Like, why did they not change their names? Somebody went into her classroom in Yale and asked her, why did you do this to people? And she ran. She would not even face them. They didn't change their names because in 1986, nobody owns computers. We were lucky if you had a VHS tape in your house where you could record things. They could do this mess so easy and get away with it. People who were born, like my children, in 99, in 2000, you were born with a computer in your house. with a phone in your hand. You have no idea how easy it was to perpetrate this nonsense. So my husband said, you know what they did? They took pictures walking into the Challenger. He said, next thing you know, he said, Sam, they walked out of a trap door. They shot the rocket up, let it blow up. Because remember, NASA didn't put any rockets up for years. NASA is just another way for them to launder money, guys. And they kept their real names. These people kept their real names. The exact look, they didn't even bother to change their names. He claimed Arnold right here, or whatever his name was, he claimed he was his twin brother. Oh my gosh, like, this is not okay. This is so not okay. Listen to this one.
I come here asking for your help, but first a little backstory. I think we all remember the Challenger explosion that took place in 1986 that tragically took the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. It launched not too far from where we're standing here today. Well, the interesting thing is, a couple decades later, this thing called the internet came about, and someone allegedly found almost all of those astronauts alive and well, many using the same exact names. As you can see here, we have Challenger astronaut Judith Resnick and also Judith Resnick, Yale law professor. Michael J. Smith, the pilot of the Challenger astronaut, and also professor at University of Wisconsin, now retired Michael J. Smith. Commander Dick Scobie, who is now president of Cows and Trees. Now, if you'll notice, they all have the exact same faces 30 some odd years later, the same exact name, and they are the same age.
Yeah.
Now, we all have a doppelganger out there, right? No big deal. But to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare, I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names. This, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond statistically impossible. Ms. Resnick was questioned at Yale by a journalist, and she panicked and ran from the camera. Why? Mr. Michael J. Smith was also questioned, and he said, yeah, we look alike, but that's not me. You can see both of these exchanges in a film called Level with Me, and you can be the judge. Mr.
Sir, I'm going to
Scobie
have
not only has...
I'm going to have to stop.
Sir, this is
you.
a public comment.
I know what it is, sir. I'm very familiar with the public comment.
Okay.
And part of the public comment is that you're only allowed to address things that we have jurisdiction over. We have no
I have a direct request at the end of this that is in your purview, sir, please. I do. Can we hold the time, please? I have a direct request that...
Listen to me.
Okay.
Very carefully. Mr. Richardson, would you give an opinion in regards to this, please?
Yes, public comment is reserved for issues or topics that are under the jurisdiction or control of the county commission or that are relevant to the business of the county commission. So if your request at the end is going to explain why that falls into any of this, make that request now before you continue.
Absolutely. So as I was saying, I'll just end it with what I was ending with. But the ask is that Ms. Pritchett, who knows very well about questioning science, whether it be COVID or fluoride, I'm just asking you all to question the science here. Your Goodson and Pritchett, your district covers the Kennedy Space Center. This launched from the Kennedy Space Center. You have the ability to help me in sounding the alarm and asking the federal government for help. If this is contained in your area, I should be able to at least address something that happened here. Don't you agree?
That's not within the jurisdiction or authority of the county commission.
Thank you very much.
Will you let me finish for at least 10 seconds?
No, sir, you're finished. Thank you.
Thank you for taking away my freedom of speech today in here.
I did not take away your freedom of speech.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to hear it from you people down here.
Just because this is an uncomfortable topic.
Officers, please remove this man from the room.
You just violated the First Amendment.
I didn't violate the First Amendment.
No, he
violated the rules.
This is a limited public forum, and the meeting is for the purpose of the business of the county commission. It's not for this purpose.
Now, if you want to go too, take him out too. Officer, take him out also.
Everyone just calm down. They can leave willingly.
Wow. No, we're leaving willingly. I mean, you don't have to remove us.
You just made a decision about NASA. You're making your decisions based... All right, well, you violated the First Amendment already.
Thank you very much for your opinion.
Yeah, maybe check reading it out again.
These astronauts are alive, by the way. Look it up. You can't have 3 doppelgangers. You can't. Same face, same name, same age. It's impossible. Look it up. Statistically impossible.
On Point Behavioral Center's right down the street. That's where I suggest you go.
Just because you think this is a mental problem, I should still be able to talk. It's your opinion, sir.
Have a nice day.
You too, thank you.
Thanks again.
Yeah, y'all have a good one.
All right, take care.
Thanks. As I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted and my First Amendment was violated during a public comment period here in Brevard County, I was saying that Mr. Scobie is the most interesting because not only does he have the same age, same face, same name, same slanted eye in the cheek if you look very closely, get this, he created a company called Cows and Trees, and the promo video has a cow blasting off strapped to a rocket, leaving a smoke trail eerily similar to that of the Challenger explosion. You couldn't make this up if you tried.
No.
That's why I today am calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to stand with me in demanding the Senate Subcommittee on Space Science open a new investigation into the Challenger explosion. Because if this is all one big coincidence, no big deal. But if it's true, people watch what they believe were 7 people blown up on live television, inflicting emotional and psychological trauma on millions of Americans. And we deserve to know why on earth something like that would be done. And like I was saying to Commissioner Pritchett and Commissioner Goodson, the only reason I'm back in here is because NASA ignored my last request and was completely unresponsive about the ISS discrepancies. I was blocked by their public affairs officer after one polite request. Commissioner Pritchett and Commissioner Goodson cover the area that contains the Kennedy Space Center. So I was just simply hoping that they would be able to help me in some way since it is their territory. I still thank them for their time, and I wish I was able to finish my speech, but we finished outside, and that's good enough. I hope we can get some transparency with NASA one way or another.
Now, I know for a lot of us, we have questions about Charlie Kirk. And I feel like his death was to cause trauma, much like the Space Challenger, much like the public assassination of President Kennedy. If you understood how precious you really were, how important you are to God, you individually, not the rich people down the road, not you. There is a spiritual war continually brewing around you because you are precious. Jesus would have come down to earth and died just for you. When you think of that, when you realize how precious and wonderful and beautiful you are in the sight of the God that created you, you can kind of understand a little more why they do these things. Whether or not Charlie Kirk was actually assassinated or simply just disappeared, right? The trauma behind that, the public execution behind that, you have got to understand, like Jesus says in the Bible 365 times, do not fear. The fear. They want you to believe that every time you leave your home, your life could be gone. Every time your child goes to school, their life could be taken. So we must get rid of all the Second Amendment, all of them. Nobody's allowed to have it in the military. Only the government, right? Because they're safe, they're honest, they're righteous, they'll protect you. But fixing shootings at schools, public schools, universities is a little different, but public schools, I could do that in 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Let me tell you how you fix it. Every school, a 10-foot fence around every school with barbed wire razor at top. Yes, I know. It's going to look a bit like a prison. That's okay. The children would be safe. That fence has to be back 20 feet from the school. Inside of the school, every door automatically locks on the outside when it's shut, being able to be opened from the inside. Every entrance is bottlenecked to one main entrance. You cannot enter the school but through the main entrance, which has the metal detectors and 2 police officers armed. Only way in. The only way in. No side doors, one entrance. You bottleneck it. Just like when you go to courts. Funny, there was like one or two shootings. One or two, I am dead serious. In the courthouses, one or two, and nationwide, every courthouse locked down, one entrance, straight through a bunch of police officers with metal detectors. Hasn't happened again in like the last 10 years since they changed that. So you're going to tell me we can't protect the most precious things to us? It's because they don't want to protect them. They're using them like bait. They are fishing with our heritage from the Lord. Because you could fix it. I could fix that school like that. Never be another shooting again. Then you have to ask yourself how many of them actually happened. Because statistically, these two young women at Brown University are more likely to be struck by lightning and bitten by a shark in the same calendar year than they are to have been involved in at the same place as two shootings. So you tell me, friends, is it statistically possible for everything I showed you in this video to be real? Or is it more likely that when I showed you Pergamon and I talked about the ritualized theaters there, and I explained that in that video, which is right here, you can go watch, that what we're looking at is nothing more than the handed down bloodlines of theater used to control bread and circuses, entertainment. Enter in and be contained. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Growing Under a Poison Sky. Thank you to all of you that have been rowing in our boat financially for Stevens Medical. So it's a lot. It's a lot. We got some MRI back, and there's quite a large tumor located behind the heart and up against the spine that's very close to the aorta. Of course, it has been there 12 years, so we're not panicking. But we can't finish doing the stuff for the aneurysm until we get the face and the reconstruction redone. They did basically kind of like push us into applying for disability, but if you've ever had to do that, you know it could be 6 months, it could be a year. I don't know. But his Give, Send, Go is linked in the description of the video and top of comments. If you want to donate $1 or 10, we could not have done this without you guys. And I do genuinely mean that. We could not have done these amounts of trips to New Orleans where we're staying at a week at a time with test after test without all of you rowing with us. And I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you. I appreciate your time too. You go look all of this up for yourself. I'll link everything I showed you in description. And then you come back and tell me, what do you think this really is? Because I don't believe anything's a coincidence. And I don't believe statistically this is happening that much. I love you guys so much. Have a blessed day.